With me in the studio is the Dark Lord Blood, who is a seventh-generation Satanic worshiper.
Oh my God, dude. I love it. So I think this is from, 1994? Maybe even earlier. This is a remnant of something called the Satanic Panic. Now, if you weren't around for the 1980s and the 1990s, there's a thing called the Satanic Panic. It was like a moral outrage, basically, where tons and tons and tons of people, mostly evangelical nutter butters, went nuts over this idea that there were Satanists around every corner. They thought that they were doing satanic rituals on children in daycares and kindergartens and all kinds of crazy stuff. There's even a dude, a therapist, who had a patient named Michelle, and he helped her extract, quote unquote, hidden memories from her childhood. It turns out they were false memories. This is a real phenomenon that happens. People can formulate false memories and believe with complete certainty that they really did happen. They're completely fabricated. This is why therapists should absolutely never, ever help somebody recover repressed memories under any circumstances, because there's a 50-50 shot they're completely fake. My mom dealt with false memories herself. Well, anyways, the Satanic Panic era started when this therapist extracted these false memories from this woman named Michelle of her basically being subjected to satanic ritual abuse, is what they called it. Satanic ritual abuse. Completely fake. This term doesn't even exist in real life. It's all fabricated. He ended up going on to write a book about it and marrying his patient. Not a fantastic look. So anyways, Michelle Remembers is the name of the book, and it was the start of the Satanic Panic. I forget exactly how many. I think like 17,000 or something reports over the course of 10 years of, satanic rituals and satanic practices taking place at like daycares and kindergartens and stuff like that. Literally not one was verified to be true. Obviously, there's no satanic ritual whatever taking place. It's all fabricated. But it's fascinating to look back on it in history, see what was happening at the time. And it's useful to us now because the Satanic Panic is making a comeback. I want to talk about what it looked like back then and what it looks like now. We're going to be talking about, in a little while, some clips from Alex Jones and some other religious nutter butters like Stu Peters. I've got a clip from him. And I think, I've got one from Robin Bullock too. So we're going to talk about those people. But let's talk about what it was like during the Satanic Panic era in the 1980s and 90s. Check this clip out. I don't know exactly where or when it's from, but it's from sometime in the 90s. I think about 1994.
We're discussing Satanism and the occult this morning and some of the dangers that are lurking about. And with me in the studio is the Dark Lord Blood, who is a seventh-generation Satanic worshiper.
He is so obviously faking this, right? He's the original troll.
I mean, are all your friends Satanists?
No, I don't have any friends, but my acquaintances are, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, dude. It's so bad. There's more to this in a sec. You know what? Let me just skip forward and we'll hit the other part.
And this kind of knife is being sold for that reason. There's something called an
But
empty.
it's also being sold for healthy reasons.
Man, what's healthy about selling a knife that's
Vicky!
Oh my God, dude. It's so bad. It's so cringy. Holy shit. Oh, it's painful. It's painful to watch. It's so cringy. It's literally painful. This dude is trolling the hell out of these people. God, what would you do if some dude growled at you on live television? I think I'd probably do the same. I would clap at him. Or I'd be the guy growling. Most likely I'd be the growler. God. Oh, that's bad, dude. That's really, really bad. Hilarious, though. We should track this guy down and, give him a medal. That would be awesome. I wonder who this guy is. That's funny. Okay, so, let's keep watching some of this lost footage.
For the purposes of this study, we will focus on the number 666 and its use in the Universal Product Code.
The UPC codes in 666. So, this is I don't know. I'm looking for a product that I don't even have a product around with a barcode. But if you look at a barcode, it's the number under it. So I guess they're all freaked out that there are 666s in barcode numbers. Like, give me a break, people. This is so common back then. And again, we're seeing a resurgence of it right now. It's nuts.
Most people don't realize that 80% of all toys on the market have occultic influence, and these are the most popular.
It says here that it actually makes the wings move, so let me look at that. Isn't that amazing?
And do you remember those verses in the book of Revelation about the flying beast with the riders on them?
This could actually be taken from Revelations.
Sure, it looks like it.
Dude, this is so sad. Seriously, these people are clutching at straws, and they'll do anything they can to find evidence of some satanic worship, some secret satanic practices, trying to spread Satanism through society. It's ridiculous, man.
I dealt with a boy, to abbreviate it, who wanted to kill me. The name of the demon that was inside the young man was named Azrael. I later found out that Azrael was Lucifer's personal death angel.
Where did you hear that? That's not in the Bible. I don't remember anything about that. This is just made up. It's like they created their own theology around all of this nonsense that exists entirely outside of the Bible.
Not only that, but I also found out that that was the same name as the cat on the Smurfs. And
oh my God, the Smurfs, evil confirmed. You know, the sad part is Jehovah's Witnesses would probably agree with this. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. There's this urban legend in Jehovah's Witnesses where somebody, you know, the story changes from person to person, but anybody over the age of, say, 30 years old who was a Jehovah's Witness heard this when they were little. The idea is somebody showed up with a Smurf book. This is the version I heard. Showed up to the Kingdom Hall, their church, with a book about the Smurfs, and they were reading it during the service. And one of the Smurfs jumped off of the page and materialized in real life in front of them and started swearing, walking down the aisle and out the door because Jehovah's light was too strong for it. Another version says they had a Smurf doll in their purse, and the doll was animated and came to life and walked out the door. I mean, there are a billion different versions of it. I have no idea how it came to be, but people genuinely believe this stuff. Dead serious. And, you know, there was a massive culture war battle against the Smurfs back when the Smurf story came to be in Jehovah's Witnesses culture. It's almost like they picked up on, you know, the outside world's culture war battles to some degree. We can still see that happening with Jehovah's Witnesses today, even.
the cat on the Smurfs. And what is his primary objective? Is to catch little Smurfs and kill them for Gargamel.
And this kind of...
Just absolutely nuts, dude. Absolutely nuts. Look, this is a continuation of their, satanic toy line or whatever.
Snake Mountain. It's got an interesting little feature here. I'm going to turn it on. It can actually transform your voice from your regular voice to that of an occultic hero. Is that
an occultic hero, huh? Is that what it's advertised as? It'll turn your voice into a satanic hero or something?
correct? So let's get a Skeletor type of voice.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to turn that way down in post.
Let me turn this on here. I think I'm getting it too loud. Skeletor, the master of the universe.
And of course, master of the universe is super evil because God's supposed to be the master of the universe. So this is occultic. Love it. Love it to death. Yeah, foundfootagefest.com is apparently where this can be found. I'm not sure exactly where I found this originally. I think I found this on YouTube somewhere, but if you want access to all of my clips, every single one of them is available, telltaleatheist.com/clips. It's free. I'm not charging you anything. I'm not selling whatever. It's just if you want access to the clips I've covered, you can access them there. And while you're at it, go to telltaleatheist.com/subscribe and sub to my email list, just in case my YouTube channel's deleted, my Twitch is deleted, everything is deleted. I'll still have a line to communicate with my fans, if nothing else. So, yeah, sign up there if you can. Anyways, as I was saying, the Satanic Panic was not one isolated event. It was a series of events over decades Check this one out. This is 1994. It's from a TV show called Pagan Invasion. It was a 12-part series on VHS. You know what? I'm not going to give any more explanation. Just listen to it yourself.
They will try and infiltrate your church. They will try and set up whispering campaigns against the pastor and the elders.
Who are they, I hear you asking? Are they in the room with us right now? Satanists, of course, is who he's referring to.
They may even try to seduce the pastor.
For 2 years,
They try to seduce the pastor, obviously excusing any sexual impropriety on the part of pastors, right?
For 2 years, I was involved in the Baptist church. I was constantly complaining about the pastor's sermons being too long.
Glenn, former Satanist, it said.
Being too dry. Sowing discord between the people. Gossiping about others.
Just complete garbage, dude. Neither of these two people were ever Satanists, by the way. They have both always been Christians. I know that for a fact because I looked into them. This guy at the beginning actually wrote a book. This guy right here, he wrote a book. And I actually purchased the book. I wanted to read it on stream, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Anyway, they're both completely lying. But here's the thing. The Satanic Panic is back, unfortunately. Televangelists and even run-of-the-mill Christians, by and large, are talking about Satanism again. Satanic ritual abuse and the whole 9 yards all over again. We are right back where we started all the way in the 80s. Check this out. This is from mid-February 2023. This is a televangelist named Robin Bullock. He's pretty famous. He's got a bunch of subbies on YouTube, and he's got a TV show, I believe. Is he on radio? I'm not sure. He's all over the place. Way, way bigger than me. Not his YouTube channel specifically, but overall, his ministry is massive. It's like a mega church, basically. Listen to what he had to say recently.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Go ahead, tell me.
Comes the glory. Here comes the glory. It's coming on in. And the glory will invade the halls of Congress. And the glory is going to come in like a mist right there in the middle of it. And demon-possessed congressmen are going to manifest right there in front of everybody. You're going to see some of them react. And don't be surprised if suddenly there's a session of Congress on television and it's the same old boring sound with the gavel and all this stuff going on. And all of a sudden in the back you hear somebody say, "Bleh," and all because the anointing's going to come on the floor and it's going to draw these demons out into the public for everybody to see. Don't be surprised when that happens.
You know what? I will believe you the moment this happens. The moment we see a shred of evidence, anything, I will take anything. I'll believe it. Not saying I'm going to turn into a worshiper or anything, but I will absolutely believe it when a congressman, I don't know, turns into that woman from The Exorcist and his head spins around as he vomits. I think that would convince me if something like that happened. I mean, I'd want to verify that it wasn't a trick. I'd want to verify that he didn't get some brand new virus or something. But yeah, that would convince me. Unfortunately, no one's ever seen that, ever. Since the very beginning of time, that's never happened. I'm very, very confident. I will take any evidence at all. They have nothing. Check this one out. This is Alex Jones feeding into this garbage. Mid-February 2023, he went on this guy's show. This guy's name is Dave Scarlett. He runs some kind of a TV show or whatever. Pastor Dave Scarlett. He's a religious nutter butter, too. We may talk a little bit more about him. I have some videos on my channel about him. Listen to what Alex Jones had to say on his show.
I've been a Christian since I was young, born again when I was younger, been worldly, had a lot of problems. I'm not perfect. But I got to tell you, it happened to Mark Dice. It happened to me.
Wow. I had a lot of problems. I'm not perfect. Okay. You know what? I'll give you this. I'm not going to talk about his moral failings. I'll give you this one. Alex Jones, not too long ago, the contents of his cell phone were leaked thanks to his own lawyer's stupidity. And we discovered that this guy was paying a private investigator to tail his wife during the day to make sure that she didn't, come back to catch him doing something with somebody. While she was being tailed by this PI, he was back there sleeping with his mistress. And this is like a constant thing that he did all the time. Forget all the massive amounts of vodka that he drinks. Dude seems to have a serious problem. I mean, I'm getting all this from his own phone records. Yeah, I would say he's not perfect, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's not my place to judge him for any of this, but when he starts wading into moral superiority and all this other garbage, I feel like I have to bring it up. At least bring it up, right?
It happened to Mark Dice. It happened to me. It happened to a bunch of other people I talked to. Before you're offered a national TV show, before you're offered a major record deal, they get you in a room and they say, listen, we want you to reject Jesus Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer.
Oh, come on. Really? Who is they? Who are these ambiguous, secretive figures out there that are pulling strings like puppet masters? Seriously, this is... does anybody believe this? Unfortunately, his listeners do. Unfortunately, Pastor Dave Scarlett does, and this is something that he's going to go on to repeat. This is absurd. I need a little more than your word before I believe such an absolutely absurd claim.
Lucifer. And it was an off-record meeting with me when it happened. It happened.
How convenient. How isn't that convenient? It's never on record. It's never something people can actually record and release copies of. It's always off the record. It's always secretive. Just ridiculous, man.
When it happened twice. Mark Dice tells the story because it wasn't an off-the-record meeting. It was with the largest reality TV show production company out there. And it happened to Mark Dice. When he told me about it, I believed it because it happened to me. It's happened to...
Okay, he keeps talking about Mark Dice. Mark Dice is another far-right extremist bomb thrower. I don't think I've ever watched anything from him before. Maybe I should. I think he was deplatformed off of a bunch of stuff for going full-blown Nazi. I don't even remember now. Anyway, keep listening.
It's happened to Eric Mueller, Mancal Mueller. It's happened to a bunch of other people I know. And you're sitting there in a meeting with people in a high-rise building around an office table, and you're like, are you kidding? They're like, no, we're very serious. And we need you to reject Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer. And I tell viewers that story, 20 years ago, and they go, that's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Seriously, if you believe this story, get your head examined. It's absurd. Raise your standards of evidence a little bit. Like, stop embarrassing yourself and ask for a little proof for once.
No, that really happened.
It did not actually happen. He's completely full of it. But that's Alex Jones for you. Always has been. Unfortunately, he said a minute ago he told this story 20 years ago, right? That's because that was the tail end of the Satanic Panic. And here we are, once again, decades later, say 30 years, 40 years after the Satanic Panic was at its peak, and we're re-entering a new era of Satanic Panic. Unfortunately, we're also in the era of Trans Panic also. I think I'd rather the Satanic Panic, because being a Satanist or an atheist is a lot easier to hide than being trans. And, nobody is safe when the pitchforks come out, which is what's happening right now. Early February 2023, this is Stu Peters on the left. Speaking of trans panic, they kind of intermix the Satanic Panic and the trans panic in this one. He's talking to Senator Bob Hall. Senator Bob Hall. Listen to this. Oh, by the way, before we listen to it, let me just mention, if you don't know Stu Peters, I have some videos about him also on my channels. He's got a pretty big podcast. He's significantly larger than me. A podcast, a Rumble channel. He's been kicked off of YouTube and Twitter and all of the others, but he's massive. The equivalent of probably millions of listeners.
Do you think that there's motivations other than money to continue doing this for these people? Do you think that there's some sort of a satanic grip that has a hold of these people?
These people, okay, go on.
Oh, no, there's no question about it. This kind of behavior, along with the things you described earlier about SEL and CRT and DEI and all of
what the hell is FEL and DEI? I caught one acronym there, CRT.
Those things, they all have a satanic base to them that's coming from our drift away from God. We are no longer the Christian nation that our founding fathers envisioned when they put together our Constitution.
Founding fathers did not envision a Christian nation when they put the Constitution together. It specifically says in the First Amendment, there's the Establishment Clause. No establishment of a religion, no laws regarding religion, regulation thereof, or anything. First sentence, okay? First sentence, and they missed it. Have they even read the thing? I doubt it.
The folks today, the drift is what's happening. We no longer are guided in what we do by God as a country.
You know, maybe sometimes it's in God's plan to scare us back underneath him.
Okay, that's a weird image, but all right.
On your
Very
knees.
well.
On your knees is the only place that you can go to.
Oh, dude, I love going to Facebook moms' pages and seeing posts like, "On my knees is where I'm the strongest," or something like that. Oh, I eat those memes up. My favorite. Or, "The devil drove me to my knees, but he didn't realize that that's where I'm the strongest." Something like that. It's so bad. So bad.
On your knees is the only place that you can go to look up.
I like where this is going. Go on. I'm listening.
And so he would rather have you fearfully coming to him than smiling going to hell, I would imagine.
God would rather have you smiling on your knees in front of him. Absolutely, that checks out. So anyways, the point is the satanic panic is back in full swing, and it's getting crazy, man. Getting crazy. Unfortunately, they're mixing all of the moral panics together right now. The trans panic, the gay panic, the satanic panic. It's all coming together in an amalgamation. And it's kind of disturbing to see, but I'll be damned if it's not entertaining to watch after the fact. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And yeah, let me know if you happen across any more of this clip. I'd love to see this clip with the Dark Lord. What's it? Dark Lord Blood? I'd love to see more of this guy. If anyone has a link to that, and let me know in the comments. Don't forget to sign up with my email list, telltaleatheist.com/subscribe. I would appreciate that very much.